What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Starting off today's videos, we're picking up with the Age of Revelation, unDEADPOol. You know, it's rather funny. Over the years, I've found myself more and more liking Deadpool. Not so much the cinematic version of Deadpool, but the legitimate comic version. Today, we get the Halloween version. We get the Jason version. We get the I'm coming to kill those campers version of Deadpool. This one's actually a really almost depressing, sad version of Deadpool. Like, your heart really does go out to him in this futuristic hell. The biggest question, I guess, is how would his healing factor measure up to this virus? The virus that has mutated the likes of Franklin Richards, eradicated entire populations. Can the unkillable man actually survive that? To find out, we pick up in Louisville. We pick up in the Revelation territories. We have 4 new individuals. These guys are calling themselves the Alpha Warriors. Kind of a mix of Alpha Flight and the New Warriors. The narration from Deadpool, absolutely brilliant here, saying that those 6 fans gonna be absolutely thrilled by that name. Because for real, who's actually reading Warriors or Alpha Flight? Like, I don't actually know anybody that are reading those comics, that have ever actually read those comics. But these kids, they've run out of gas. Having only a short way to get to their destination, they decide that they're gonna walk it. They're gonna hike it. As they begin to venture further and further into the woods in this territory, the one thing about the territories is it gives mutants food, shelter, pretty much anything that you could ever want. But for regular humans, that's a whole different discussion. The environment begins to turn on them. In an instant, they are overrun by babbles. So we see the 4 of them, they circle up. They get into their formation, and we get to see what the 4's powers actually are. We have Magni, that is their Thor, complete with the lightning bolts and the Nordic cheekbones. Fantastica, exactly like Reed Richards. Maybe the more interesting of the lot is Kid Man-Thing, appearing to have just absolute control over vegetation. And then there is Fearless. This is also essentially just Daredevil. Daredevil with mental powers. Mental powers that don't work on the babbles. Now make sure you stick around to the end, because we're going to talk about how just absolute cheapness it is to just copy characters. And this is what I was talking about when I was discussing how this virus just doesn't make any damn sense. Franklin Richards, it turns into a horrible creature of the night. Something you would find in a messed up Rick and Morty universe. But for these 4, they just get powers of very prominent heroes that already existed. While they battle this horde of babbles, we see off in the distance, Deadpool is watching. He's observing. And we learn that these kids, they're trying to get to Miss Marvel. They're trying to get to the Resistance. But what these kids didn't know, what they should have been terrified of, was that creature stalking them in the woods. That creature once known as Wade Wilson. Cue the And just looking at Deadpool, you can see what this virus has done to his body. Completely ravaged it, boils and all. You could say that things have changed over the last 10 years. He caught the X virus. Most people it kills. Some people it gives superpowers like mutants. Doesn't make them mutants per se, but it makes them like mutants. Like these young kids here. But for Deadpool, the mix of his healing factor with the X virus, it was an ugly concoction. The kids finding their way to a summer camp, bedding down for the night, starting a fire, and we really just get a little bit of conversation between all of them. A little dialogue to find out who they are. Most of this dialogue is focusing around Fearless, our Daredevil wannabe. And while these kids might think that they're safe, they are the furthest thing from it. You see, Deadpool's healing factor in the X virus, it created something else. So when 2 of the kids sneak off into the woods and start making out in your very classic slasher horror way, they're sitting here talking, flirting, and then our Thor wannabe gets a sword through the freaking mouth. You see, the virus didn't kill Deadpool all the way, but it couldn't mutate him all the way either. But it definitely keeps his healing factor very busy. Most of the time, he's trapped between a state of life and death, a horrible type of limbo. His body moves, it's all completely instinct. His mind's there, but he's like a passenger. His body just reverts back to his muscle memory of being a mercenary and an assassin moving in the shadows. So with Deadpool killing our Thor wannabe, Fantastica takes off. She grabs the other two and they run. They hightail it. They go as fast as they can. They try to get as much distance between them and Deadpool as they possibly can. But while they're taking off, this is where Kid Man-Thing, he gets jealous. It appears that Fantastica and Thor, maybe they were in a throuple, maybe they were a couple, maybe they had open rail, who knows? He gets jealous. He gets so jealous that he turns on them right here in this moment, letting his hormones just get the better of him. He cannot help himself. There is a huge argument. He builds up a vine wall and then he just takes off, leaving Fearless and Fantastica here by themselves. So as those two kids run off to find Kid Man-Thing, this is what brings them to some kind of junkyard, a salvage yard for vehicles. In here, they would find Kid Man-Thing. And even Deadpool will admit, this kid probably had huge potential. A teenage elemental. Given some proper training, he would have been damn near unstoppable. But alone, here, and with Deadpool on his trail, by the time that they catch up to Kid Man-Thing, all they find is his dead body. And so now it is down to two. Fearless and Fantastica back to back. A fire lit. Now they just wait for their killer. They wait for the predator that is hunting them. But a little fun fact about Deadpool. He still had his teleportation belt on, which means it still worked. Which means he teleports Fantastica right out of her spot from where she was sitting. And by the time that Fearless gets to her, what we see is Deadpool just devouring her, eating the flesh right off of her body. After munching on her and ensuring that she has been taken out of the equation, he hops down and he charges in at Fearless. And even Wade thinks to himself that, I'm sorry, you're gonna be the last one. Your odds right now, they're 900 to 1. All he can sit here and think about are the speeches from Daredevil, the speeches from Spider-Man, how he was supposed to be a real hero someday, a savior, a messiah, a champion. And at the end of the day, he just ended up a cannibal killer. The guy that always wanted to be a mutant like Cyclops, like Wolverine, like Siren. Someone that was able to overcome all these huge obstacles. Or someone like Cable. Since the moment that he realized he was going to die, he wanted to be a mutant. But not like this. Never did he want it to be like this. Having Fearless pinned down, we see Deadpool going in for the bite. He goes in for the kill, but in the last moments, he stops himself. He cries out that his name is Wade, that he's not a monster. He tells Fearless that his body was running on automatic, that he was running like a machine. But now this machine is finally consumed enough. It's ate enough to where he has a little bit of his mind back, a little bit of control, grabbing Fearless's hand and telling her to read my mind, to read it, see the truth. That I'm not lying to you, that I need this, that we need to move, that we don't have time. There is still a chance I can help you. I can save you, because this is the sad, ugly truth of it. This is all Deadpool has, having to be autopilot to a cannibalistic killer that is his own body. Finally gaining control. Maybe some part of him feels like this is his shot at redemption. This is an opportunity, maybe not to right his wrongs, but to do at least one good thing. If he can just save this one person, can do this one good thing, maybe that means something. Now elsewhere, we have somebody that's watching, somebody that's keeping an eye on this. That somebody is Cable. And Cable has been tracking Fearless. We don't really know why, we don't understand why, but Deadpool intercepting, this appears to be a real problem. Cable says that she needs a better chance than Deadpool. She needs a mentor, a commander. She needs to be part of an all-new X-Force unit. Seeing the full scope of Cable, we see that the techno-organic has essentially taken over half of his body, and Cable is ready for war. That is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, I always try to be a Deadpool hater. I really do. Like, and I don't do it intentionally. I just think Deadpool has been so overhyped in the last decade that it makes it almost cringeworthy to see Deadpool. Like, Ryan Reynolds, I think he does a good job of portraying Deadpool, but it just, I don't know, it feels so edgy and corny and forced. You know what I mean? Whereas the comic book Deadpool, it feels more organic. It just feels more natural. And most writers, they understand the fundamentals of how to write Deadpool. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely some bad Deadpool stories, but I think this one's gonna go into the good category for me, because this is actually kind of heartbreaking. You know, Deadpool has this healing factor that is damn near unmatched by anybody, maybe Wolverine, but I think even Deadpool's healing factor is stronger than Wolverine's. Again, depending on what comic you read. But seeing the X virus hit him like this and him take a backseat to his own body, watching him just go through the motions and just slice people up, eat them, devour them as they pray, as they plea, as they beg just for some kind of freedom, some kind of relief, beg for this not to be some kind of hellish nightmare slasher movie. It's even sadder because we know that Deadpool has always wanted to be a mutant. He's always wanted to be a part of X-Force. He's always wanted to be accepted by mutant kind because he never really felt like he had a place. Now, he played and he joked and he messed around a lot, but deep down you could tell that that's really what Deadpool wants. That's where his heart is. And so getting the X virus and mutating him in such a sense, this is not what he wanted, not what he expected. And now at this point it seems like more he just wants the sweet relief of death. And if death can't come, he just wants one good deed. To be able to save one person. Hauntingly tragic. And an absolute banger right before Halloween. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you caught up on everything that has been going on with the Age of Revelation. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. This is a lot like Patreon, having a bunch of different tiers. It really does help out the channel tremendously, but if you can't do that, please do me the favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.